Ashley, welcome to the Lessons of a Lashpreneur show. Thank you so much for applying to be on the podcast and specifically this topic. So tell everybody where you're from, a little bit about your business before we dive into coaching.
Thank you so much for having me. So I'm from Galloway, New Jersey. I opened my lash business December 2018. I was in the corporate world, had kids. Um, Corporate world is not very friendly with kids. So
Word.
I had a cosmetology license. So thinking, what can I do with this to make it more flexible, still be with my kids, but still make money that I was making in my corporate job.
Beautiful. Awesome. I can definitely relate to that. I was in corporate sales and marketing and new business development for 8 years before I ever went to beauty school and did this whole Lashpreneur thing. All right. So if I'm understanding what your main struggle right now is finding the balance between investing in the business and also being able to have capacity to parent and be present with your kids. Is that kind of like the main struggle you're facing?
Yeah, I feel like I'm all or nothing right now.
Right. Okay. So describe to me when you're in the biggest conflict or the tension between where your time is best spent, what does that look like for you? Like, what is it that's coming up that you don't like the feeling of, or I should be present over here, or I'm not present enough over here? What situations is that?
So I feel like my social media is like the biggest thing I'm having issues with, because I'm either consistent making reels and having them posted and all this stuff, pre-making them, or I'm just like, all right, I'm just taking a break, and then I take a week break. And I'm
Okay.
just like, I'm not going to let that get to me. I'm going to be with my kids, I'm going to be with my husband. And then I just have a hard time getting back into it. So it's
Okay.
kind of just finding that balance of taking care of yourself, family time, and running a business.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is specifically the consistency on social media makes you feel like you're not doing your business justice, or that you're robbing your business of opportunity for growth because of the consistency on social media.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So how do you know when you're consistent on social media? What is, like, if I'm tracking data points, how many times a week or how many pieces of content are you putting out there that you feel like I'm doing my business justice? What is that number?
One post a week and multiple stories a day.
One
I mean,
post a
one
week,
post a day. Sorry.
one post a day. Okay. And then multiple stories a day.
Hmm.
Is it just you, or do you have a team that works under you?
I have one lash artist.
One lash artist. Okay. And how booked out are you guys? How's business?
We just raised our prices in February, and right now I can no longer accept any new clients.
Okay, so you can no longer accept any clients. Where's she at in how many clients she sees?
Same. I believe she sees about 20 to 30.
Okay, beautiful. So you guys are kind of both at max capacity as far as taking in new clients.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and you just did a price increase.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let's stop and take a moment to recognize that, because that's amazing. So here's what's interesting is that, I mean, I'm always a fan of continuing to market, but even if you posted once a day and did stories every single day, you still wouldn't have the ability to take clients that you generated from any marketing, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Right.
do you feel like you're not doing enough when you're already your if I'm looking at your business and the obstacles or challenges you're facing your business isn't struggling with getting new clients in. You're at a capacity issue.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I want to also gear myself towards current lash artists to be able to launch my lash line and do things for them, because I remember when I first started out the struggle that I had, and I
Okay,
want
so
to
now
let
we're talking about a whole different business model.
right. So I feel like I also am all over the place with that.
Okay, which is so common. It is not uncommon to have these different things that are pulling us, right? And so I don't know if I've actually talked about this on the podcast. We've done it in a challenge before, the desire island versus reality island. In fact, I think I recently did it in coaching, but this will help you get clarity on what it is you want and what it is that you're trying to get. And then we can look backwards from, okay, if I have this, what did I do to get here? Instead of adding all these different layers of complication and different layers and different business models and different audiences we serve and different processes and blah, 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 blah. Because your brick and mortar lash services business sounds like it's killing it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are both fully booked. You and a team member are fully booked.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, why even have any other business model? Why not just keep, if money's the goal or growth or revenue or whatever, why not keep down this one same path of building out more team members?
Because I would need to get a bigger place. I'm nervous to get a bigger place. And I feel like I would like to eventually take a step back from my brick and mortar and have people work here, someone to take my spot here,
Uh-huh.
and then I am online.
Okay. Why?
I feel like that I can get more information out for other lash artists. I feel like I can be more valuable. But I get excited helping other people, honestly. So I feel like
Okay.
that's where my heart is.
Okay. So why help lash artists rather than help your team members?
So she's actually, anytime I have something new come out of training or whatever that I want to do, she's the person that I get feedback from. And we work together that way. But I don't know, I just don't want to be stuck in a small town type thing. I
Okay,
want
so
to,
you're looking for more location flexibility is really the ultimate goal
not
or
like
dream?
physical location, but more so like I just want to be known because I feel
Why?
like I just want to be like that person that people know that they can come to or they can get help from, that knows it's credible. Like Paris Lash Academy. I know that they are reputable. They are always there. And if you ever have a question, you can reach out to them and they get back to you. I want to be known for something like that.
But why? I understand like this, the logistics of I'm known for this, but what is that giving you? What is that giving Ashley when she is known for being reputable and that she's a go-to trusted resource and she's known for something? Why is that important to you?
It just makes me feel really good. And it also, I feel like that can give my kids something to look up to as far as like working hard, doing what you need to do.
Do
And
you
I
feel
can,
like they don't look up to you right now? Because haven't you already
yeah,
accomplished something worthy of looking up to?
yeah, but
Okay.
hmm.
But this is where we start to peel the layers, right? Because this is why you don't have clarity and why you're adding in all these different things because you're looking for what sounds like validation,
Mm-hmm.
but you're looking external for that. And so because that's actually internal work is you recognizing your worth, your value, you validating yourself that what you've accomplished and created that you are worthy of looking up to, whether you have 6-figure, 7-figure, a large audience, a large following, all that stuff. That is very risky to place a lot of worth and value and importance on that because it can be taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then if we have all of our worth tied up in this external result and COVID happens, or we get canceled, we say something, the wrong thing, we offend the wrong person, and all of a sudden we're canceled. All of a sudden we no longer feel worthy and deserving because of this external result is being taken away, or we make poor decisions because we're afraid somebody's going to take it away. Right. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden we try to appease everybody because it's more important that they like us than us being ourselves.
Mm.
All because we want our children to look up to us for an external result. Right? Because wouldn't your from a parenting perspective, wouldn't you want your children to look up to you for being who you are so they felt free to be who they are, no matter what society or an external person thought of them?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why it's inner work that we're looking for an external result for. I'm not saying those things are bad. I'm not saying don't want those things. I'm saying the motivation of why you're wanting those things is actually not going to get you what you want, which is a feeling, which sounds like, and I'm just making some big leaps here, so you can tell me, nope, you're way off. And I speak from experience because I have gone through this journey myself, that if you want external validation, but you're not doing the inner work to give yourself that validation,
Mm-hmm.
you will constantly be seeking things and you will live in this chaos that you've already created.
Yeah.
Based on the mindset you currently have now is why you're experiencing kind of the chaos or the ups and downs, or just not feeling fulfilled, or you feel like I have to come up with a bunch of different business ideas, and we're adding these layers of complication. And for me only, this may or may not resonate with you, but for me, when I get really present to, I don't like the chaos that's happening in my life, or I feel like I'm adding complications to things that may not need to be that complicated. It's because I get a need met that I feel needed, because I have so much of my worth tied up in being needed, that if I'm not needed, so I got to go create problems or create fires that maybe don't exist or aren't really there, so that I can feel needed again. And that creates a lot of chaos for the people around me. And we get further away from this peace that we keep seeking out, yet we're the ones also creating the chaos. So that can look like, I've got a really successful business model. I can actually start to pull back on the current business model. I have to free up time to spend more time being present with my kids. Because really, we're talking, I mean, how old are your kids right now?
5, 2, and 5 months.
Oh my God, they're babies. So we're talking about, we want our kids in their 20s and 30s to look up to their mom and be like, wow, she really did accomplish something great. But you're so far away from that right now that all they really need from you right now is time. That is their currency right now. And yes, I mean, because I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and her biggest, the thing that makes the biggest difference in her life is not the amount of toys that I can buy her. It's not the nice house I can put over her head. It's quality time of me focused in on her. And so while we spend so much time hustling while they're young, and then they go to school, we can hustle some more, so that maybe in their 20s and 30s they'll look up to us and like be inspired by us, and like really recognize all the effort and work we put into like managing everything, when in reality the bigger difference we can make is being present with them. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. Like, my therapist had to give me permission. She's like, just do 15 minutes of child-led play once a day and see how that changes your kid. And I'm like, okay, I can do 15 minutes. And sure enough, it made a huge difference, that I don't have to block out 6 hours of time of us just talk about your day. It's just little, like, kids just love that just time. So when we're looking at needing that validation, I want to get to why that's important and what maybe work you can be doing to not need it externally, because then it becomes a fun game of, what do I want to do? What interests me? How can I do more of things that bring me joy in life? Because I don't need it to work out or look a certain way or have a certain number to it. And this is where I've gotten to, and honestly, the journey I'm still on in the business after shutting it down last year, as I took away that external validation, because it cost me too much with my time, my energy, my stress level, even the decisions that I've made in my personal life, trying to get me away from needing external validation so that I can focus in on me validating myself, me doing that work. My self-talk is improved. I can sense in my body when I'm doing things that I like and things that I don't like. And then the business just becomes, how much better can I get at business? How much more can I grow the business? Not because I need it, and not because I'm desperate for it, because that was what caused me to make poor decisions. But I take so much of the meaning of what happens in the business off of me. So if something bombs in the business, I'm cool. I laugh it off. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. So we're going to try something different. Otherwise, we start painting all this meaning of, I can't ever do anything in my business like that again, because it tanked my self-worth and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So what if that is kind of resonating or not resonating with you?
As far as the whole children thing, I only work when my husband's not working.
Okay.
So he works 40 hours a week. So I am definitely spending a lot of time with them. But as far as when I'm there, I guess that is, like you said, the 15 minutes I think I need that. I would just want to throw my phone away. Don't worry about the phone calls coming in. So I have noticed that I've been making boundaries with my business. Like, I put into place, I want to say like end of last year, 24 hours to respond to somebody, and weekends are off, things like that. So I am taking pressure off myself by implementing different policies, but I feel like there's only so much I can grow where I am right now.
And you're also in a season where your kids are really young. Like 5 months old, that kid is still attached to somebody at all times. And then for about another 2 years, they're basically like a kill risk where they're like trying to kill themselves every second of the day. So yes, you are in a very heightened time of your kids needing a lot from you. And hallelujah, my youngest is 4, so I'm just getting past that phase where she needs constant attention, where she can go have a little bit of time to herself, where she goes to school most days of the week. And so you are in a season, and if you can look at it as a season of needing to be mom priority first, as opposed to growing your empire, that won't always be that way. But if you can give yourself permission that this is a temporary phase, that all these ideas and all this desire for growth and wanting to have something that's your own, because I will be the first to admit I couldn't do mom full-time, stay at home, that situation. And I had to like come to terms with it, that wouldn't fulfill me. It's not that I don't love my kids. It's not that I don't love being a mom. There's so much more that I want to do outside of being a mom. And I want to have things that are just for Tara. And so there's also giving yourself that permission of like, it's okay for you to want things outside of just being a mom. And so I love that you've got boundaries in place. I love that you're starting to see how much power you do have over your schedule. Where I think the struggle may be is this, it's not even like mom guilt that it seems like you're having, it's like business owner guilt. Like some people experience it in the reverse. When they're paying attention to their business, they're like, I should be with my kids. And you're like, I'm with my kids, but I should be with my business. Isn't that interesting? So so the same thing works in the opposite, right? And so if you were spending so much time in your business and you felt guilty that you weren't spending time with your kids, we would look at when can you spend time with your kids that's dedicated and focused in on them so that you feel like they're getting what they need. So we can do that in reverse with the business. How much time in a week do you want to be able to spend working on the business, not in it, but on the business, so you feel like you're at least maintaining? You're not necessarily growing. You're not doing, like, I want to have a $500,000 year this year. We're just giving the business the attention it needs so it can still continue to provide for us, because that's important too. So what's that number for you? Either what your goal is, like eventually I want to be spending this much time on my business a week, or what you think you can give it this week. We can do either.
I guess it would be 5 hours, because I feel like once I'm in it, I can really just bang out inventory, do everything I need to do, create.
Okay. Is that current or goal?
Goal.
Okay, beautiful. Awesome. Okay, so the goal is to work 5 hours a week on your business, handling things like administration, marketing, financial, inventory, all that kind of stuff. Beautiful. So let's see. And then you'll also have your time working in the business. So when is your deadline timeline for when you'd like to have 5 hours a week dedicated on your business? Can you think of anything that's happening in the future that seems like a good time that you would be able to do more time on the business?
Just whenever.
Okay, so let's give it a timeline. What's popping up in my head right now is probably when school starts again in the fall. Because your youngest is your youngest going into kindergarten, or are they still in
kindergarten?
Kindergarten. Okay, so you will have one child that will have dedicated time away. And then you can look at, can I get support in other areas that maybe, I have a babysitter for 2 hours in a day, or, I drop the kids off at preschool or daycare for 1 day a week so that I have this dedicated time. Obviously, I know there's like cost versus benefit that you have to consider as far as budgeting. But it is important for you to spend that time working on your business so you can build out efficiencies in your business to either get more time back, build out a new team member so you can train her so that you can then pull back on the time that you're spending working in the business. So then if you're working 15 hours a week right now, working in the business, taking clients, well, if you get another team member in, then you can pull back 5 hours of clients because she's taking them. Now you have that 5 hours already built in to your current schedule that you're working on the business. So we can start, again, when we get clear on what the end goal is, we can work back and look at strategies that might make that work.
Okay.
So my question to you is, do you have 1 hour this week that you could spend working on the business?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So you're already a fifth of the way there. right? So that 1 hour, what is the highest priority for you to be doing in that 1 hour that's going to keep the business afloat and maintained? What are some of the tasks or items or to-dos?
Inventory, and I would say create content for social
Okay.
media, but
We'll just say marketing in general. Okay. We're not
okay.
going to get so granular specific because I think getting so granular specific as to like, if I don't create a reel a day or a post a day, I'm failing. I think that's the narrative that you're giving yourself. Whereas really the end goal is to be getting new clients or marketing my business,
Mhm.
no matter what that looks like. So let's start
Okay.
with just marketing in general is one of the tasks that you want to be able to do in that 1 hour. Okay. Anything else? Just think through a whole month of things that need to get done for the business. What other items come up or tasks come up?
Um, mhm.
What kind of admin stuff do you have to do?
I feel like I lump everything together, so I can't really, like, inventory would also, and scheduling, I guess.
Scheduling. Okay. Client communication.
Yes.
Okay. What about financials, accounting, that kind of stuff?
I do that at the end of every day.
Okay. And what is it you do that you're doing every day?
I write down what comes in and then what goes out.
Okay. Is there any way to automate that process so that you're not having to manually write everything to save you some time?
Probably, but I have no idea.
Yeah. Um, so not knowing how do you use an online booking software?
Yeah, square.
Okay. So Square, you can pull reports that'll tell
Okay.
you, basically like how many clients came in, price per client. It can even tell you broken down by service, I believe. Like these are the services that came in. Now, can I ask why do you do that every day?
Because I feel like if I don't, then it won't happen.
Okay, so is it a discipline issue?
I
Why
guess
wouldn't it happen if it wasn't every day? If you can do it every day, you could probably consolidate it to once a week.
maybe I feel like I would get overwhelmed and just walk away from it and try to
Okay.
take shortcuts.
Okay. And how is that serving you?
It's not.
Okay. So why do you feel like it would be overwhelming?
Because if I let one thing go, I'm going to let something else go and be like, oh, I'll just do it all together. And then I need to just break things up, like do one task at a time.
Okay.
And like I have it dedicated, like the 5 hours we're talking about.
Right. Yeah. So I want you to start to look at your business through the lens of everything is a process. Everything is a step by step that happens. So what you're doing every single day, you have your steps. I click this button to go look at this report to pull out these numbers and put them somewhere, I'm assuming, or just what are you doing with the information every day? Is it just reassurance that like, yay, we made money today, or is it getting input into something?
I use it for taxes, and then I also like reassurance that we are getting what I need to make money and profit and things like that. So,
Okay. Are you paying yourself consistently?
nope.
Okay. So that to me is the crux of the issue, is that we are trying to have so much control over money because we're not currently paying ourselves enough for us to feel secure. So we
Hmm.
are over controlling things that may not necessarily need to be controlled, thinking that that is what's giving us security, is that control, as opposed to the consistency of developing a process that um, can grow. So let's talk about the money side of things. You are fully booked, essentially. Your team member is fully booked, yet you're not paying yourself consistently. Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know. I just put in the cash I have. I just kind of save. So I don't know why. If I want something, I'll just go get it. But I'm not. I don't know.
Okay.
No idea.
On average, in any given month, what is the sales the business is doing between you and your team member in a month?
Um, I would say 7 to 10.
Okay, so we'll call it
7 to 10.
8,500 as an average.
Okay.
Okay. Um, And how much would you need to pay yourself personally for you to feel like I have a lot of breathing room, I'm doing really well?
Mm, I don't know, because I feel like I have that now I just don't pay myself. Like, I don't take the money out and give it to myself. I kind
But
of,
why?
I don't know.
It's my favorite question to ask, but why?
I just
Drives some
have
people in my life crazy. Go ahead.
I just have comfort knowing that the bills are paid. If the kids want something, they can do something. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so do you need to work, or is your
Do
income just kind of like fun money?
I for my mental health, I need to work. The
Different
fun
type of currency.
um yeah, I do need to work,
Okay. So
but
what is it
not
you need to be bringing home, even if it's just like $200 a month for your family's like necessities? You guys are not behind, you're not accruing debt, all that. What is the personal payment you need to be making? And then we can start to talk about what you want to be making.
I need to be making 500 a week.
Okay, so 2 grand a month, we'll call it. Okay. And so you're not consistently paying yourself the 2 grand a month.
No,
Okay.
it's just going right into the account.
Okay. So that's the place to start.
Okay.
Whether that's the goal that we're working towards or you have the ability to start that today. It's being intentional about that, because guess what? That money's not going to transfer itself. So the person that's going to be doing that is you actively transferring it from business account to your personal account. And hi, it's pay. Now, let me ask you this, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Is your team member a W-2 or a 1099?
1099.
Could have guessed it. Because if she was W-2, you'd be running payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And you would also be on payroll.
Mm.
So because you're in Jersey and because she's doing the exact same services you are, little side note, actually an illegal misclassification of employment, and she can sue you. Now, don't have her listen to this.
No, we actually
But
just
that
talked
would
about
be the
this weekend.
first thing that I would recommend, is getting that legal, getting her into W-2. It may have to adjust her pay, whatever. Get you on payroll starting ASAP, because it'll be easier for you to start your own payroll, because there's a lot less complications that come with it than when you're hiring on a person outside of the business owner. Because you can get yourself on payroll fairly quickly within a week or two. And that way, at least, even if it's less than that 2 grand a month that you're doing in payroll, there's two different ways that you could pay yourself depending on the legal structure of your business. Now, are you a sole proprietor or LLC or S Corp?
LLC.
Okay. So you could do it depending on, yeah, you're probably at the revenue level. Talk to your accountant, but you could be an LLC, but you file taxes as an S Corp. One of the main benefits to the business owner of doing that is you can pay yourself a payroll wage, which means that your employment taxes, your Medicare, Social Security, all of that is coming out of your paycheck. On top of that, you can do what's called owner's pay or owner's withdrawal. So for me, I pay myself a very, very minimal base salary as the CEO of the Lashpreneur. That happens every time we want payroll. It's a very nominal amount. And depending on the business growth, I then take the rest as an owner's distribution, and it isn't taxed the same. I don't have to pay payroll taxes when I do an owner's draw. So it is a legal workaround to paying a little less taxes as the business owner. Again, talk with your accountant. I'm not an accountant, but it is a way, as a tax strategy, for you to have consistent pay in your payroll, but also as the business does well, or maybe you have a really good month and you can pay yourself and give yourself an owner's distribution when the business is more profitable. What is going to help with you is that when you're running payroll and you have to run it every 2 weeks or on the 15th, 30th, however you choose to set it up, that you are consistently paying yourself that $500 a week. And it takes a lot of this, oh, I'm just going to keep it in the business side of things, because you deserve to be paid for the work that you do. This is not a charity that you run. It's not a hobby. It is a business, and the business owner should absolutely be paid. So how does that feel in setting up that kind of structure in your business so that A, you can be consistently paid, B, you set up your team member legally, and then you kind of also have a framework to bring on more team members if you so choose.
Overwhelming, but good.
Okay, so what's overwhelming about it? I don't know where to start, right?
Yeah, so her and I actually talked about it this weekend because I listened to the podcast you were talking about misclassification. I was like, oh crap. So I do need to sit down with my accountant and go over everything as far as how to do that and where to start. But it's definitely something I want to do like ASAP.
Yep. I would advise that for your own, because again, external stuff can be taken away from us.
Mhm.
And in this case, and I know a lot of people think it's a scare tactic and like, well, I saw other people doing it. Let it be known that it is done illegally in our industry so often that it seems the norm to classify somebody as an independent contractor, yet it is illegal. And just because you don't know the laws doesn't mean it doesn't apply to you. But now that you have the awareness that this is something to correct, what helps with the overwhelm is not like, oh my God, I have to get to this point by tomorrow. I have to know all the laws and I have to know all the things and all the steps. I have to get it done. So it's the timeline and that gives us the urgency of overwhelm. Where the flip of getting out of overwhelm is, what step do I need to take today to start working towards that?
Okay.
So step one would be, like you said, talking to your accountant.